Ripple is alive again. Recently, it surpassed the $2 price, which is a high that it hasn't surpassed in the past 7 years. And now it's ranked in the top 5 most valuable crypto projects by market cap. And many are wondering right now, is XRP, Ripple, is it a good time to invest in this project? Or is it just a speculative gamble? Or maybe it's better to just stay the hell out of that project? Well, that's a question that we're going to be answering in this video today. First of all, very few people really truly understand what Ripple does. So we're going to break down what it is exactly that Ripple does. What is the problem that it's actually solving and what is its solution? And what are the developments around Ripple in the past 7 years? Because this is one of the OG projects. In 2017, I bought Ripple and I thought it was dead for many years. And there's a real good reason for that. And there's also a real good reason why it's now back from the dead. So we're going to uncover all of that in this video. By the end of this video, you will have a very clear understanding of how this project is currently positioned and whether, according to your own investment parameters, this might be a good investment for your investment portfolio or not. So if you enjoy watching videos like this one, if you want to see more videos where I break down crypto projects or important developments in the crypto market, then make sure to smash the like button and to subscribe to my channel, because I'm going to be posting regular videos just like this one to help you to get an advantage in the crypto market and to help you to maximize your profits in this market cycle. All right, my goal is to help as many of you cross the finish line and hit your financial goals this bull market cycle. And if it's not this bull market cycle, then the next one. But let's first tackle the most important question of this video, and that is it now time to invest in Ripple or not? How is it possible that Ripple is pumping so hard after being dead for so many years? Let's dive in. So here you see a chart of XRP's price. And here you see in 2017, it went on a major run up. So here on the left side of the chart, you see a very, almost like a horizontal line if you look at it from this time frame, and suddenly the 2017 bull market starts and Ripple shoots up. From that moment onwards, it never really recovered from its all-time high. In 2021, it barely went up. The project wasn't performing so well. People gave up all hope on XRP, except for a small group of hardcore believers. But yeah, for the mass public within the crypto space, they always want to search for the latest hype, the latest narrative. What are the influencers and the KOLs talking about right now on Twitter? Which project is making the news headlines? And Ripple wasn't really doing it. Well, they were doing it, but not in the greatest possible way, because they had a very dark cloud hanging over their head for many years. And we're going to uncover all of that in just a little bit. And then now, if we're looking at this current bull market cycle, we suddenly see a massive jump up in the price of Ripple to almost $2.50 per XRP token, which is an insane jump, which is way higher than the previous bull market. So why are we seeing this? How can we explain this most recent jump in the price of XRP? At the moment of recording this video, XRP is actually even in the top 3 most valuable crypto projects. It's hovering between top 3, top 4, competing with Tether, with Solana, but it's usually around the top 5, depending what day, what time you check the charts. But that's insane for a project that has been almost dead for the past 7 years. So why has the price of Ripple and why has the hype around Ripple been so low in the past 7 years? Well, that all has to do with this Ripple versus the SEC legal battle. So at one point, the SEC, the Securities and Exchange Commission, led by Gary Gensler, started to attack Ripple. It basically claimed that Ripple was an unregistered security. And if you are a security, then you need to register with the SEC. You need to comply to certain laws and frameworks in order to be able to offer what you're offering to the public. According to the SEC, that is required in order to protect the average investor. So as a result, Coinbase delisted XRP, and it has been in a very long legal battle up till the point where in October 2024, so very recently, the deadline for the SEC to file an appeal against a partial ruling in Ripple's favor. The SEC didn't come up with an appeal. So this basically means that XRP came out of the legal battle, and they basically made a major win for the crypto space, for XRP as a project, and a lot of the uncertainty around XRP is now lifted, which is really great. So XRP has made a very big effort to gain political power in the past few years. It has donated millions, I know a total of 75 million, if not more. Here you see a newspaper headline or a CoinDesk headline saying Ripple drops another 25 million into crypto PAC. So a PAC is a political action committee. It's basically an organization that accepts donations in order to achieve a certain political outcome. So basically they fund politicians, lobbyists, or other people that are willing to push a certain political agenda. And one of those PACs is Fairshake. And here you see, this is a snippet that I screenshotted from Fairshake's website, and it says Fairshake supports candidates committed to securing the United States as the home to innovators building the next generation of the internet. Basically, it's a movement that is helping to get politicians elected that can push a favorable agenda for crypto. Here you see Brad Garlinghouse, the CEO of Ripple Labs. And it's saying Fairshake is the most successful multi-candidate bipartisan super PAC in American history. Electing pro-crypto, pro-growth, and pro-innovation candidates is a no-brainer. And to continue that momentum, Ripple is contributing another $25 million to Fairshake. So again, in the United States, and this holds true for almost every country around the world, but you can buy political power, you can buy political influence. I think the US is quite extreme. You can literally make donations or fund these PACs in order to get a certain agenda out in the world or in government. And that's basically what Ripple is doing. And Ripple is not the only one, of course. There's many crypto companies which have donated very heavily to these organizations that can get pro-crypto politicians into the government. And that might have been one of the reasons why Trump won. It had a lot of support from these organizations, and Trump also understood that the crypto audience was a very important audience to get on his side. Here, another tweet from Brad Garlinghouse. This Thanksgiving, I'm grateful for the SEC chair, Gary Gensler, which announced that he was going to be stepping down as head of the SEC chair. So this is really important because for the past few years, the SEC, so the Securities and Exchange Commission, has been very anti-crypto. It didn't really give the crypto industry a very clear regulatory framework and clarity that they needed in order to attract talent, capital. So there was also always a lot of uncertainty, and uncertainty is never good. For example, Coinbase has been attacked by regulators, and many other crypto companies have been attacked by regulators. So it was a very hostile environment. And now that the SEC chair is stepping down, and now that we have a pro-crypto or potentially we don't know yet, but it seems like there's many signs that we're going to have a very pro-crypto government in the US. I do believe that's very positive for the crypto space. Here is a tweet by Brad Garlinghouse. Huge congrats to David Sachs on his appointment. He understands tech inside and out, and importantly will push forward President Trump's crypto and AI pro-innovation plan. So again, probably he's commenting on a politician that he helped to get into office through the 𝗗𝗶𝘀𝗰𝗹 that he was supporting. So here you see the result of all of these efforts and donations that he has been making. So yeah, Ripple Labs, which is the parent company, they have gained a lot of political power. And that's really important to keep in mind for the remainder of this video. Now, another big development around Ripple is that WisdomTree files for a spot XRP ETF with the SEC, becoming the 4th firm to seek approval following the cryptocurrency's price surge. So do you remember earlier this year, we saw that the Bitcoin spot ETF was approved, and the moment that this spot ETF got approved, there was so much new money that was flowing into the market. So let me briefly explain the concept of a spot ETF. See a spot ETF as a publicly traded fund, which you can buy shares in, and the fund owns an underlying asset. In the case of a Bitcoin spot ETF, it owns Bitcoin. In the case of an XRP spot ETF, the fund only owns XRP. So why would you invest in a spot ETF compared to just owning the Bitcoin or XRP yourself? Well, first of all, you outsource all of the hard work or all of the technical stuff to a third party, to a custodian. You don't need to worry about securing your wallet. You don't need to worry about where you're going to store your seed phrases or your backup codes or the passwords of your exchange, whatever. So cybersecurity measure. You don't need to worry about that. All of that is being measured by professional fund managers who will take care of all of that for you. Of course, there's a small fee that they charge every single year for doing that. That is the model of these ETFs. So their goal is to gain as much assets under management as possible and to charge a small fee based on how many assets under management they have. Also, you can buy into these spot ETFs through your stock brokerage platform. So many of the investors within the TradFi ecosystem, the traditional financial ecosystem, are oftentimes gray-haired investors that just have some money in their stock brokerage account. They don't want to bother hanging around on all of these complicated crypto exchanges. They just want to get exposure through their stock brokerage account. So they can buy into these spot ETFs and gain exposure to the underlying asset. So Bitcoin with a Bitcoin spot ETF or XRP with an XRP spot ETF. So the moment that the Bitcoin spot ETFs were approved earlier this year, we saw billions and billions flow into the crypto space, to the point that recently Bitcoin even reached a 100K valuation. So around this time, the market is consolidating around a 100K Bitcoin, which is insane. That's a really great sign. And if you're looking at the IBIT, which is the BlackRock Bitcoin spot ETF, it is the fastest growing ETF in history. Right now, they have around $50 billion of assets under management. Right now, they manage around 513,000 Bitcoin, if not already more. And that's just insane how much money is flowing into that spot ETF. And imagine if so much money is also flowing into XRP, well, then it might be really interesting for the price of XRP as well. So keep that in mind as well. So right now, we're just laying the groundwork for all of the developments that are happening around XRP. What is XRP in the first place? Well, XRP is the product of a company called Ripple Labs. Probably you've heard these names interchangeably, Ripple, XRP. Now I'm going to explain how these relate to each other. Ripple is the parent company and XRP is the product. It's almost like how Apple is the company and the iPhone is the product. So Ripple Labs was founded in 2012. Its current CEO is called Brad Garlinghouse, and they have a few different products. One of them is one of them is XRP, which is the token that provides liquidity. Then we have the XRP ledger, which is the network that does settlements. Basically the infrastructure for the traditional financial system. And we're going to dive into that in just a little bit. So I'm going to explain what the XRP ledger is, the XRP network. And then Ripple Labs also has another new product, which they recently announced, which is RLUSD. So it's a stable coin issued by Ripple Labs. So those are the three different products that Ripple Labs has: the XRP Ledger, the XRP token, and the RLUSD. It's almost like Apple has the MacBook, the iPad, and the iPhone. It's an ecosystem of products that work together. Now, let's dissect all of this a little bit in more detail. So, currently, we're dealing with a traditional financial system. Let's use the example of my company, Epic Mining. Epic Mining, what we do is we make Bitcoin mining easy, accessible, and profitable for the average investor. And our investors are all around the world. We've got hundreds of investors in all regions of the world. And oftentimes, when they need to do a transaction, let's say to our bank account in the States, but they're based in Germany or something, then they have euros on their bank account and they need to pay us in dollars on our US bank account. So what happens is they submit a payment to their bank, and oftentimes banks charge very horrible conversion rates, and it can take 3 to 10 days for the payment to arrive in our bank account. So I would say the traditional banking system or the traditional financial system, because it's a whole ecosystem of banks and intermediaries, is very slow, expensive, and inefficient. And it's exactly this inefficiency that makes them the most money. And if inefficiency makes them the most money, then there is no incentive to make it more efficient, because then they would have less fees. So let's go back to the situation where this client from Germany that has euros in their bank account and wants to pay his invoice to us in dollars, then he needs to send a foreign currency from his bank to our bank account. So how does this normally work? Well, banks hold what is called nostro accounts. And a nostro account is a bank account which a bank holds with an overseas bank that is denominated in the currency of that country. So back to the example, the customer that has euros in their bank account but wants to pay us in dollars to our bank in the US. So basically this bank, our client's bank or potentially new client's bank, is holding a nostro account where it holds a large deposit of dollars so that it can send dollars to another bank account abroad. So this is a very inefficient system because banks need to hold lots of foreign currency reserves in order to facilitate these foreign currency transactions. So they need to lock up all of this money, or they need to hold very large pools of money, foreign reserves in these nostro accounts. That's basically that liquidity that's sitting very idle within this system. And that's exactly what Ripple is trying to solve. So I really like analogies. I think it's really great to explain something in the form of a simple analogy that everyone can understand. So imagine the traditional financial system as a bunch of different pipes from A to B, B to C, C to A, C to D, A to B, whatever. And right now there's a lot of different pipes, different sizes of pipes, different materials of the pipes, different temperatures of the pipes. And when you're running liquids, different types of liquids through all of these pipes, then there's a lot of inefficiencies. It's very slow. Sometimes a pipe can be too hot, so too much of the liquid evaporates and maybe comes out in a different color or, I don't know, completely changed from the other side of the pipe. So the traditional financial system, like we discussed above, is very slow, expensive, and inefficient because the piping between the different players in the ecosystem is old, outdated, and efficient. So XRP is like the plumber, which offers a whole new set of pipes which are interconnected through the whole traditional financial system, which will make it faster, cheaper, and more efficient. That is the whole point that XRP is trying to achieve. And here is how they're doing it. So I mentioned before, that banks need to hold large pools of foreign currencies in these nostro accounts. So if you have a bank in Europe and they need to hold lots of foreign currencies like dollars, yens, pounds, in the case that their account holders want to send money abroad in these foreign currencies to other bank accounts. So those are large pools of money. So what is XRP? XRP is positioning itself as a bridge currency. So rather than requiring banks or financial institutions to hold large sums of foreign exchanges into these nostro accounts, instead they just hold XRP. So they can convert their own currency, so let's say euros to XRP and XRP to the foreign currency. So this cuts out the requirement of the banks requiring large deposits of foreign currency. Instead, they can just buy XRP and XRP to the foreign currency. So it's like an intermediary step, which can happen very quickly and very cheaply. That's the whole point. So this is how XRP is trying to change the current financial system. And if you look at the statistics on their site, they have very impressive stats to show. So right now it takes between 3 to 5 seconds in order to settle a payment from one bank account to another one. So in the case of my customers in real time, in real life, they need to wait 3 to 10 business days in order for the money to arrive at our bank account. So that's very long. They cover around 90% of all of the global currencies. They've done around 27 million transactions with around $50 billion worth of value. And that's really nice because in the crypto space, there's so many projects out there that don't really have real world adoption. And here is Ripple. It is a company that has existed for around 7 years, and it actually has real world adoption. There's a real world use case. There's real financial institutions that are making use of this product or service. And here you see some mock-ups on their website of how it looks like when you're using XRP. So here it almost looks a little bit like TransferWise. So you see the number of transactions executed, the volume of transactions, total transactions, payments that went through, to what parties, what deposits, withdrawals. To me, this almost looks a little bit like a Wise account. Here, another mock-up. So here you see some conversion to, for example, Taiwanese dollars to Great British pounds. Here you see Taiwan dollars to Mexican. You just see a whole bunch of different currency conversions happening. And the whole thing that's happening in the background is this. So if you want to convert, what is it? The example that they're using over here, pounds to Taiwanese dollars, then on one bank account, you convert pounds to XRP and XRP very quickly to Taiwanese dollars. All of this happens within 3 to 5 seconds and it's done. And if you're looking at some of the case studies that XRP has on their site, here Ripple helps Siam Commercial Bank, I believe that's a bank in Thailand, to drive innovation with instant cross-border remittances. SBI Remit teams up with Ripple to power instant remittances, so very quick international payments and conversions between Japan and Thailand. Here, so Neum is forging new partnerships to open doors in Southeast Asia, and a bunch of other different financial institutions which are already making use of Ripple for their settlements and remittances, which is really nice. Now, let's talk about the tokenomics of Ripple. So Ripple has a total supply of 100 billion tokens. Yes, 100 billion tokens, which were all released in 2014. And after some worries by the community that there was going to be a lot of selling pressure if all of the tokens would have been released straight away, they actually decided to lock up a part of those tokens and to have them be released over time. So here you see a massive drop-off because there was less supply available. All of that supply was locked up. And then over time, it was released again to the community, to the founders, and also to their, I believe this is a non-profit organization or social ventures arm. So also what happens, every time a transaction happens on the XRP blockchain, a small fraction of XRP gets burned. So it's actually deflationary. There's going to be less supply available over time, which should make the token more valuable if there is an increased demand over time. So that's a little bit about the tokenomics of XRP. Now, XRP has something very interesting going on for it, because XRP is one of the few financial products that is ISO 222 compliant. So ISO is a large institution which is giving out certifications, and in, I believe, November 2025, all financial institutions need to be compliant with this ISO 222 standard. And probably you have heard of the banking system called SWIFT. This is used a lot for international payment. So SWIFT stands for Society for Worldwide International Bank Financial Telecommunication. So basically it's an organization that is working to create banking standards. And one of those standards is this ISO 222. So whenever you're doing a transaction through the SWIFT network, and again, I'm dealing a lot with this in real life because we have a lot of customers internationally, so I know from first hand how all of this works. When you're doing payments internationally, sometimes it can happen that a payment just suddenly gets stuck somewhere in the air. Well, it doesn't really get stuck, but people don't really understand what's happening in this whole chain. So when you have a payer and it has a bank account at the originating bank, then it needs to send the money to a correspondent bank, which is basically a middleman, which forwards the money then to the recipient's correspondent bank, and which then sends the money to the recipient's bank. So in this case, if one of my clients sends me money, it goes through this whole chain of middlemen, and all of these middlemen take time. They sometimes charge fees, and they delay the whole process. And it produces a document called the MT103 file. And this is an extract which outlines all of the steps that money flows through when it goes from the payer in order to the recipient. And also when money gets stuck somewhere in this whole chain, you can use this MT103 file to trace the payment. So it is definitely useful for international payments that we have these standards which make it easier to trace, but it's also very inefficient because there's so many steps in between. So SWIFT wants to embrace this ISO 222 payment standard. It's a global standard for financial information. And Ripple is compliant with this ISO 222 standard, which is really great because Ripple is one of those institutions which wants to work with regulators, which wants to work with the rules and the framework in order to fit into that so that it can seamlessly integrate into the traditional financial system. In addition to that, you might wonder if, let's go back a few steps. So if Ripple is going to be the bridge currency between these different financial institutions and financial currencies, does the price volatility not make it less interesting? Because if you have a bridge currency that is so volatile every single day, will that not give issues? Well, that's one of the reasons why Ripple also decided to recently launch this stablecoin, RLUSD. Actually, it's not yet released. They're still working on the release. They announced that it should be released in the start of December, which is right now, but they're still working with regulators to get it out there. But not that long ago, they published this tweet introducing Ripple USD, RLRSD, a one-to-one backed stablecoin offering transparency and stability on the XRP, Ledger, and Ethereum coming later this year. And that was in June. So later this year should be somewhere around now, but they're working on it. So Ripple challenges Tether, and Tether is actually quite a controversial company because Tether People doubt whether Tether is really backed one-to-one. They don't really want to open up that much, so it's almost like a black box. They say they're one-to-one backed, but there's also many analysis done that claim the opposite. And then you have Circle's USDC, and they basically have a duopoly on the stablecoin market right now. And RLUSD wants to get a slice of that stablecoin market. And because Ripple is one of those companies that really want to work together with the regulators, here's an article of Fox. Ripple is poised for New York approval of stablecoins set to enter the regulated US crypto market. So this New York regulator that they're talking about is actually one of the most difficult regulators to get approval from, and actually Ripple's very close to get approval from this regulator. We also saw the impact that it has when you're not compliant with the regulators, and we saw that with the case of BUSD, Binance US dollar stablecoin, which was issued by a custodian called Paxos, and it was actually shut down. So yeah, that's why it's important that RLUSD is actually working with regulators so that you don't have the risk anymore that it will be shut down in the future. The stablecoin market, the market cap at least, is around 170 billion. So that's 170 or 169 with 9 zeros behind it. And it's dominated by mainly USDC and USDT. So RLUSD wants to get a nice slice of the pie by entering the market. And I think that's a really nice play to get adoption and to get people into their ecosystem. Now, the whole reason we're making this video is to answer the question, is Ripple or is XRP, to be honest, because Ripple is the parent company, but XRP is the actual product that we're talking about, or the coin that we're talking about. Is it a good investment or not? Well, we are in crypto or in Web3 because we generally like to believe in the Web3 philosophy. We like decentralization because previously in the Web2 era, there was so much power and control in the hands of just a few companies. And to name those companies, Apple, Microsoft, Google, Meta, they hold so much of the data, so much of the power, and as a result, they earn so much of the money. And the whole philosophy behind the Web3 and the crypto revolution is that we want community-driven projects. We want projects created by the community for the community, where there's accountability, transparency, and to be honest, XRP doesn't have that. XRP is highly centralized. So within crypto or within the blockchain space, different blockchains work with different consensus mechanisms. So how do they validate the transactions and the stuff happening on the blockchain? With Bitcoin, that's proof of work, basically meaning that miners use machines and electricity to process transactions on the network. So proof of work. They work to verify transactions on the network. With Ethereum, it's proof of stake. So basically people delegate their Ethereum tokens to staking pools, and they run validator nodes and they process transactions on the network. With XRP, you have a unique node list. Basically, Ripple Labs determines who are validators which are allowed to process and verify transactions on the network. So here we have Ethereum and Bitcoin as examples on the right side as decentralized networks, and we have Ripple on the left side as a centralized network. So that could be a risk, or at least maybe it fits within your investing philosophy, maybe it doesn't. It's all just a matter of preference and what you're looking for in a project. So talking about the consensus algorithm or how transactions are verified on the Ripple network. So Ripple employs a consensus system, and these banks make use of the Ripple network, which is running on this unique node list consensus mechanism. Then you have the validators, which are chosen by Ripple Labs, which is the unique node list. And then when people transact on the Ripple ledger, then these validators verify the transactions. And when the majority of the validators accept these transactions, then they're published to the network and they're basically done. So that's how this works. But again, keep in mind, these validators are handpicked by Ripple Labs. So there's a high level of centralization. Now, here is my concluding remark, basically, about Ripple or XRP. It all comes down to the Web3 philosophy. Bitcoin was created in order to disrupt the traditional financial system. Satoshi Nakamoto in 2008, 2009, when it launched Bitcoin and the Bitcoin white paper, it saw all of the flaws of the traditional financial system in 2008. Excessive risk-taking by banks and financial intermediaries, which caused the average person to lose a lot of their money. It also saw the censorship happening by governments and institutions, and it wanted to create a peer-to-peer, decentralized monetary system where banks and governments couldn't control what people were doing on the network. So it basically gave back the financial control over the control over people's own financial future. And Ripple is actually doing the exact opposite. Ripple is focused on making the traditional financial system a bit better, making it more efficient and faster. Some say that Bitcoin has been created for the people, by the people, and that Ripple is created for the banks, by the banks. Some even believe that if you buy Ripple, you'll go cripple. But if you look at the price of Ripple, and the fact that it is pumping again after 7 years, and all of the developments that have been around Ripple for the past 7 years. Many crypto projects, when they face hardship or difficulties, or they get these lawsuits by regulators, they throw the towel in the ring and they give up. But Ripple didn't do it. They actually kept on building more. They kept on onboarding more financial institutions to use their product. And they actually have real world adoption. There's actually a lot of transactions happening. They have built a really strong product. And yes, I do believe there's a good use for this in the real world traditional financial system. And with all of the spot ETFs, which have been, which institutions are now applying for to issue these ETFs, I do believe there could be a lot of buying pressure coming in for Ripple. The whole point, the whole belief is that when Ripple achieves this mass adoption by these large institutions, they will buy up a lot of the supply of Ripple, and this will drive the price of Ripple up over time. So my question to you is, what do you believe, or what do you think about Ripple right now after you've watched this video? Do you believe it's a good investment? If you believe it's a good investment, do you believe it's a good investment for this crypto market cycle? Because right now it might have the narrative on its side. The market is pumping, people are getting hyped. Do you believe it's a good short-term investment, long-term hold, or do you believe it's better to just stay far away from Ripple? I'm really curious to hear your thoughts. And if you enjoyed watching this video, I put a lot of effort into it. Do me a quick favor, make sure to smash the like button, so that will help me to reach more people like you for whom this video might be very useful. And if you haven't done so yet, also make sure to subscribe to my channel, because I'm going to be posting regular videos just like this one, where I break down complex projects, developments in the crypto space to help you to get an advantage in this crypto market. Again, my goal is to help as many of you as possible to cross that finish line. All right, peace out, take care, and I'll see you in the next one.